Hello guys, I am back from another review and today we're talking about whether Deku was a ghost. So in the last video, Deku, after, getting killed by Overhaul, because, Overhaul wanted those, quick cancelling bullets, well, Izuku goes to heaven and meets Yahweh. Yahweh was, pretty, forgiving about Izuku's death. So he decided to, make Izuku come back to Earth, aka the mortal realm, to basically get his revenge. And because of that, Izuku, became really vengeful because of, what Overhaul did to him and his sister Eri. After Izuku came back to, to the mortal realm, Izuku terrorized the entire facility, literally killing everybody that's involved with Overhaul. Not only that, Izuku also destroyed the entire facility by basically making it explode. After that whole thing, Izuku and Eri decide to live in the forest so that they can never be disturbed or be hurted. I mean, get hurt anymore. So, yeah, that's what happened last time. So, yeah, so let's talk about what happens next. So, Izuku and Eri are now living in an abandoned cabin by, well, apparently the original owner of this, abandoned cabin was, a bit of a crazy person, so he committed suicide. And because of that, Izuku decided to live here with Eri. So, those days in that cabin were pretty happy. Eri is now, 17. For Izuku, he's still, Izuku still looks like a, well, let's just say he's like a, so Izuku's still like 15 because, Izuku died when he was 15 at the time. So, because of that, Eri calls Izuku his little brother, which Izuku was not happy about, but is, kind of okay with it. So, Izuku learned how to do this, brand new ability of his. This brand new ability of his basically allows him to basically possess a person. Like, for example, if he were to, possess, like, for say, the Nomu, Izuku's able to control it, like, turning it into his brand new body. So, yeah. So, Izuku is now learning how to, catch, food. As in catching food, Izuku literally just gets, like for say, a deer, and basically possessing it and bringing it to, Eri to kill. After Izuku, comes out of the body, or at least the, what remains of the body anyway, Izuku doesn't really meat to eat, but Izuku gladly eats it, even though he doesn't meat to eat. Izuku still has taste buds. So when Izuku eats the deer, Izuku just doesn't get any nutrients or anything like that. Izuku only gets the taste, which tingles all around his body. Izuku absolutely loves taste because of that now. And because of Izuku can't literally digest it. It just stays in his body. I mean it's his body. And every time when he has to I mean every time when he has to like get all of that well food out of his body, he doesn't really need to go to the bathroom. So Izuku just needs to barf all of the food out because Izuku doesn't really need to produce energy from the food. The way that Izuku produces energy for himself is souls. Izuku gets souls by eating parts of an animal or a human per se. Izuku gets that by just literally just eating a piece of a flesh. As in flesh, I mean like for example that deer. Izuku, after eating the food, Izuku gains the soul of that deer, which gives him energy. Wait for a second, guys. So, after a few weeks have gone by, Eri said this. Hey, Izuku. Izuku says this. What is it, Eri? As Eri says this. Well, Izuku, I actually want to become a hero. Izuku spits a little bit of water, even though Izuku doesn't really need to drink. Izuku just needs to act like a normal-ish human. Izuku says this. What? Did you want to become a hero? As she says this. Yeah, is that weird to you? As Izuku says this. No, it's not weird, but what if you get hurt? Or as she says this. Don't worry, Izuku. Besides, I'm technically the older sister now. Izuku says this. Ugh. Even though I look young, I'm technically your older brother. Ashi says this. Anyway, let's just, rest for now. Izuku says this. You know I can't go to sleep. Ashi says this. Oh, yeah. It's basically in the afternoon right now. The time, so she starts going to sleep as Izuku starts, going around the entire forest in his, invisible mode. So, Izuku sees a beautiful waterfall. Izuku thinks his mind, ah, it feels quite peaceful here. It feels absolutely amazing. Ah, it feels better than that horrible facility filled with so much noise. Especially with that drunken asshole of a, wait for a second. A drunken asshole of a guard. And yes, I did swear because I don't even care anymore, so thank God think I just I just stopped doing this whole thing putting in 18 plus in my videos because I just swear I don't really care anymore. So yeah. So Izuku, after looking around, Izuku sees something interesting. Izuku sees a clearing. And that clearing was really peculiar for Izuku because Izuku never saw that place that's pretty cleared before. So when Izuku looked over, Izuku sees well a man. The man has like a let's just say he has shaggy black hair and also wields a scarf. Not only that, he has red eyes. The other person there is a man that has well he has almost like rock type skin. His skin is almost like completely like rock. His face looks like a skeleton, but the skeletons or the person's face or eyes specifically, his eyes are burning with fire. As the person says this, time for you to die, Eraserhead! As he starts charging in, creating molten magma. As this man by the name of Eraserhead, Izuku, sees him just, dodging it. As he activates something weird, it looks like it deactivated his, quirk. And I'm talking about the man with the whole body being made out of rock. As the man says this, why you stupid. Ah! As Eraserhead basically dodges it. As Eraserhead basically wraps him up. As after that battle he drops down. Izuku says this. Oh god. Did I witness a fight? I don't know. Maybe I should just help them out. So, Izuku decides to, go to them, still knocked out, and bring them to Izuku's and Eri's cabin. So, yeah, so after Izuku brings them there, Izuku says this. Eri, as Eri says this. Oh, what is it, Izuku? as she sees Eraserhead and the villain. Izuku says this. It seems that we have some people that are, well, a bit hurt. As she says this, okay. So she brings in some medicinal herbs which are basically like well, herbs that they found in the mountains which are pretty much well good for medicine. So after patching both of them up, Izuku decides to well go and basically find some more herbs. So, after Izuku comes back, well, Eri is completely done with, well, the entire thing. As she says this, whew, thank God. And also, Izuku, where did you find them? Izuku tells, Eri about what happened. As she says this, interesting. Wait, did you say that he's a hero? As Izuku says this, yeah, what is it, Eri? As she says this, that means I can become a hero, as Izuku says this. Oh yeah, you want to become a hero? Heh. How about this, Eri? How would I become a hero with you? As she says this, th- that sounds like a great idea, Izuku. We're gonna become like the twin heroes, right? Izuku says, yeah, if I maybe become the number one hero, you would probably become the second hero. As she says this, oh come on, Izuku. And besides, I'm going to become the number one hero. They basically have this like little relationship, like a little bit like Bakugo, but except not as arrogant. So yeah. So after well a while, Eraserhead and the villain wakes up. As the villain says this, "Where am I?" As Eraserhead says, "Where am I? Um, am I in a cabin?" As Izuku says this, "Oh, you're finally awake." As Eraserhead says this, "Who are you, a villain?" Izuku says this, "No." And also Izuku's still invisible. As Eraserhead says this, "Show yourself!" Izuku says this, "Fine, but just don't be scared. I'm just helping you, okay?" As Izuku turns off his invisibility towards, well, towards them, as they see Izuku, as, well, wait for a second. As Eraserhead sees Izuku, as he says this, a, a kid? As he sees Izuku's arms and his face, as Eraserhead says this, "What happened to your face? Are you okay, kid?" Izuku says, I'm okay-ish, but you really need to take care of yourself. You seem to be, well, in serious, well, damage." As she said, well, wait for a second again. As Eraserhead says this, who healed me? As Zuka says this, well, it's my sister, Eri. As Eri comes out, as she says this, "So they're awake?" As the villain says this, "Why, you get me out of this thing!" As Izuka says this, "Sorry, but you're a villain, so I'm not letting you out of that thing. Besides, I created it myself." As, Aizawa, aka Racerhead, says this, "What type of quirk do you have?" Izuku says this, "Oh shoot, I forgot my powers. What should I call this? A quirk or..." Izuku just blurted out as Izuku says this, "My quirk is called Ghost." As Aizawa says this, "Ghost?" Izuku says this, yeah, call it Ghost, yeah. As Eri says this, yeah, call me Eri. My quirk is Rewind." As Aizawa says this, okay, so where are your parents? I meant, where are your parents? Izuku says this, well, um, it's a bit of a long story. So, after telling Aizawa about everything that happened to them, well, Aizawa was completely in shock. As Aizawa says this, "So, you were captured by Overhaul to be experimented on. That's horrible." the, did Overhaul survive that fire? As Izuku says this, I don't know, but maybe he's still around. If he is still around, I want to get my revenge. As Aizawa says this, understandable, but you're just kids. You're you shouldn't be having these this trauma. You're too young. As Ziki says this, um, yeah, but I'm okay. Also, Eri as well. As Eri says this, yeah, don't worry, Mr. Aizawa. I'm guessing that's your name. As he says this, yeah. Anyway, thank you for saving me. And also, how did you even restrain him? Izuku says this. Oh yeah, I just used my claws to basically rip off a pit. A, I meant, I used my claws to basically just rip off a piece of that cloth or that scarf that he used, and make it a little bit more tougher with a bit of a special type of material that I found in the forest. As he says this, wait, how did you even destroy my? How did you even cut a piece of my a piece of my scarf? It's supposed to be the hardest material to ever break or even cut. Izuku says this. Well, it's pretty easy with my claws. As well, Aizawa says this. Are those even your real arms? They look too mechanical. Izuku says this. It's a part of my quirk. Yeah. As Aizawa says this. Okay. Anyway, so are you going to well let us out? Izuki says this. Sure. Just as long as you don't tell anybody that we're here, because I don't want Overhaul or any other horrible person trying to catch us. As Aizawa says this, that's a deal. So, after a while, as in a while I mean a few months, Aizawa is fully healed as he starts going off to, go back to modern civilization. So, yeah, so Izuku says this to Eri. So, Eri, did you tell Aizawa about, you becoming a hero? As she says this, I've forgotten. Ah, crap. As Izuku says this, oh, don't worry. Besides, maybe you'll find your chance next time. As she says this, I guess you're right. So, yeah. So, this is going to be in the perspective of Aizawa, so yeah, you better be ready. So, after Aizawa gets back to, modern civilization in Japan, Aizawa reports everything that happened to him. As All Might says this, really, some kids helped you out. Interesting. They seem like really great heroes. As one of them being Midnight says this, yeah, maybe we should try and find them again. As Aizawa says this, sorry, but I kind of forgotten where did I actually gone to where I actually fought with that villain. As Aizawa says this, Nezu says this. Nezu says, maybe we can just track them down by their names. And maybe we can retrace or at least your steps. So, they plan on finding Izuku and Eri and bringing them back to, modern civilization so they can become heroes. Because they think that Izuku and Eri are, really interesting to become heroes because of Izuku's quirk and Eri's quirk. Because both of them basically explain what their quirks actually do. But in Izuku's case, he literally just lied that his, powers are actually quirk, is not actually a quirk. So, yeah. So, Nezu says this. So, Aizawa, I wanted to ask, um, do, these kids, do they, have any issues of, becoming heroes or anything like that? As Aizawa says this. Well, I think that one of them being, I think it was Izuku, he wanted to become a hero for, well, for his sister's sake. And for Aries, Izuku's, for Eri, aka Izuku's sister, she wanted to become a hero because she wanted to stop these types of people, the people that literally, well, use their quirks for, well, malicious means, like overhaul. As Nezu says this, how interesting. How about this? We should try and find them immediately before any type of villain or evil, well, organization tries to get them. Or maybe even the League of Villains will try to finally, well, get them and use them for their own nefarious means. And not only that, I have a great idea for Mr. Izuku over there. His quirk, it seems great for reconnaissance. As, wait for a second. As Nezu, basically says these final words. Well, this place is going to be interesting. Not only that, I can't wait to adopt these children. As, well, Aizawa says this. Wait, you're going to adopt them? As he says this. Yes. Besides, you would probably, well, be in a living hellscape because, well, because the way you teach children, trust me, it's better for you to not, well, be involved with these children. I seen you try to basically harm your children, harm your students last year, remember? As Aizawa says this, well, yeah, I was just teaching them a little bit of a lesson for trying to spike my coffee with, well, wait for a second, to trying to spike my coffee with, well, juices of, well, the juices of, well, a lemon. As, Nezu says this, alright, you can leave now, Aizawa. As Nezu sits back onto his desk, thinking of what he's gonna do with Izuku and Eri. Well, Nezu wants to make Izuku a really great hero. Not only that, a really good spy for UA. As in spy, I mean, he wants to, well, find a way and, well, defeat the League of Villains because they've been terrorizing the city for too long now. So, and for Eri, he wants to find Eri and use her to become, well, basically like a modern rendition of, well, I think her name was like the healing hero, that nurse girl. I can't remember her name, but it was like nurse something. So yeah. So Nezu says this. I can't wait for the brand new generation of heroes to finally defeat these villains. As he looks on and looks into the gigantic window, showing the entire, well, UA school. As Nezu says this, I hope these heroes can finally defeat them, those villains, especially that villain, all for one. So, yeah, that's what happened in this video. So yeah, so I hope you liked the video, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.